before you go on, this is this is the final white paper because the cabinet passed it last week. It's final, meaning it's final policy. It's policy of the country now because cabinet has passed it. What will then happen? Yes. No, no, I'm sorry to cut you short because I don't want you to continue with the question on the basis of wrong information. This is a final white paper. That's why I kept on saying final, final, because it has been passed by cabinet after public comments. What is still going to parliament is that a white paper or a policy document is not, how do I put it? It's not legislation. It's a policy. You still have to develop a law based on that policy. Look at the Marriage Act, which is now in front of Parliament. If you remember, we started with the green paper, then the white paper, and we debated, then we put the bill. It is now a bill in Parliament. We are going to do the same here because the white paper said the Citizenship Act, the Refugee Protection Act, the Immigration Act, there ought to be one omnibus legislation with different chapters, and that will be in the bill. And if Parliament passes it, then it becomes a law. But this white paper is now policy of the country as from the 10th. As from not the 10th. On the 10th, the cabinet passed it as from today because it's now gazetted officially. It has just been gazetted today. If you go to the government gazette, you'll find it. So it's policy of the country. Thank you. No, then you can go on with your question.
My other half of the question was the prospect of litigation against the Helen Suzman Foundation, especially as it's now at the Supreme Court of Appeal, using this particular policy, which is now a policy of the country. And also you mentioned that the Citizenship Act provides for three main forms of citizenship: by birth, by descent, or by naturalization, and it needs to be repealed. What are some of the loopholes that you feel that this particular act needs to be
Just come again.
You were saying that the SA Citizenship Act provides for three main forms of citizenship, which is by birth, by descent, and by naturalization. But you feel that it should be repealed. What are some of the loopholes that you feel should be addressed in terms of repealing this particular act?
Okay, thanks. Itimeni, do we have questions on the WhatsApp platform? We don't. Oh, okay. I think that's the only question, Minister.
Yes. That's too much. I'm just curious why when you talk litigation you mention Helen Suzman Foundation when there could be so many litigants. Yes, there can be many. South Africa today is a litigious country. Not anything you do is left alone. It's usually litigated on. I know because politically the ministry that deals with the IEC, even if it's independent, is the Ministry of Home Affairs. And time and again, we get litigation. Even now, there's litigation every day because people do not agree. What I have found to be quite disturbing is that whenever people don't agree with something, they immediately declare that is unconstitutional. It looks like the Constitution is used as a paper to pull the country backwards. We cannot. It looks like we are trapped somewhere as a country, somewhere where we can't move forward because people believe there's a constitution. Just to expand, this present legislation that brought independence to Parliament, we were told it's unconstitutional. Every single day, people appearing on the media, which of course the media call experts, because I've learned, and I'm sorry, I need to apologize to the media before saying what I'm going to say, but I must say it. I have realized that any person who opposes the state on any issue, the media give them a title of expert, simply on the basis of opposing the stand. Whereas in my book, I thought an expert is somebody who is very highly knowledgeable on a subject without taking sides, like there are professors in our universities and people with PhDs who have written thesis and all that, who are experts on particular fields. But the people who are given title of expert is anybody that stand forward and oppose the state. or oppose the position of the state. So yes, we expect that there are going to be, even after this, I'm going to watch TV tonight, there are going to be lots of experts jumping from the ground like mushrooms, you know. Yes, most of the news are going to tell you, the minister read this paper, but experts say it's nonsense. Experts say they are going to challenge it. So we are used to that in the Destumo, and we are ready for that. The issue of Citizenship Act, you are asking what are some of the loopholes in the Citizenship Act. Let me try to explain, because people might not be aware of that. Because we spoke about citizenship by birth, by descent, and by naturalization. But the three broader principles in the world of awarding citizenship by various countries, broadly, they follow three broader principles. The first one is called just sanguinis. I don't know whether it's spelled jus or just, but J-U-S. I suspect they want to say jurisdiction or something like that. Sanguinis is a citizenship, excuse me, is a Latin word for blood. When you say jus sanguinis, you mean the right of blood. That is what you call citizenship by birth. You mean this person has got a right to be this country by virtue of their blood. Under that system of the right of blood, it does not matter where you are born. It doesn't matter. As long as just one of your parents belongs to that country, even if they've been absent from that country for a long time. That's why children of freedom fighters or children of parents who went into exile during the apartheid war in South Africa, it doesn't matter where they were born. Some came when they were already 40 years or so, but they are South Africans by virtue of jus sanguinis. That's citizenship by birth. Then the second one, which many people believe South Africa should be following or ought to be following, is jus soli, the right of soil, meaning the soil on which you are born, then you become a citizen of that. Then the last one, which will also encompass naturalization, is what they call citizenship by merit, where you just give somebody citizenship deliberately, not because they've got any attachment to their country, but because you want their skills, like soccer stars. I'm sure when you watch the French team marching onto the pitch during World Cup, you'll think it is from Africa, because those people were given citizenship by that. Now, in our case, we have got this in our Citizenship Act of 1995, but we say it has got many weaknesses. That's why we want to change it. One of them, we said, it's a replica of the 1949 Citizenship Act under the Union of South Africa. What is the relevance of that? What was happening in 1949? In 1949, it was during the Union times. The British government was sending people here to become commissioners of this and that, governor of this and that territory. Countries like Botswana were called protectorates, British protectorates that needed a governor or a commissioner. Lesotho was a Basotholand a protectorate, etc., etc. Now, all those people who were sent here were men. They were never women. And the British government was worried because they know these are men. Wherever they are going to make babies. And the British government was worried that those babies, via jus sanguinis, the right of blood, they will claim citizenship of Britain. They will appear in Britain and say, my father originated from here, and I know you are using jus sanguinis, so this is my country. The British government was very worried about it, of the prospect of seeing dark figures rushing over the oceans to Britain and claiming citizenship. So they wanted to make a special law to stop them and confine them to the territories or the colonies, and they passed that act. That's why when you read that act, it keeps on saying father. Mothers never exist, because they were talking about fathers from Britain. It takes from saying father. Now what worries us is when you read our 1995 act, they just replaced the word father by parent. but the act, most of the part remains the same. And that's why things like you must be of a sound mind. And we believe that was targeting Africans specifically, where any white person can just rule that this one is not of the sound mind, and only Europeans have got a sound mind. And that our act is replicating that is worrying us greatly. And that's why we believe it must be changed. And of course, we are also worried by the amendment which was made, which I referred to here as section 43, which says if you are born in this country by two foreign parents and you stay here, you don't go anywhere, when you turn the age of mayor, that is 18, you have got the right to apply for citizenship away from your parents. What worries us is why all of a sudden there's a change. Why don't you follow the normal route of acquiring citizenship through naturalization? So those are the things that worry us, and that's why we want these changes. Yeah, if there's any litigation, we'll deal with it, but we definitely expect, because I've never seen in recent days anything done by a government not being litigated upon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. Do we have any further questions? Okay, the visual platform, Idumen.
Sorry?
Netwerk.
From what?
Netwerk.
Network.
Netwerk 24.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not well versed with some of the media houses. Network. Okay.
The previous version of the white paper had been criticized by Herman Mashaba from Action SA for not doing enough to encourage skilled immigration to South Africa. Has this issue been addressed in the final version of the white paper, and how?
Is that the only question? Okay. Follow up.
I'd like to know what should be the proper criteria for granting a citizenship, especially by naturalization by the minister.
Okay, thanks.
There are steps in the act, and we just want to fine tune them. But you may remember, you, Stumo of all people, that the Gupta's naturalization was fast-tracked on the basis that they are bringing investment. This matter even went to Parliament. That's why Parliament made a ruling that any person who is fast-tracked in naturalization by the minister within a particular period, I'm sure it's 2 weeks, the minister must go to report to Parliament. So they became aware and get convinced that this person ought to be naturalized. We want people to be naturalized also, not on the basis of fraud. That's what we are trying to do. You are aware that even prominent people like Pastor Bushiri, referred to as a prophet, he acquired our permanent residency fraudulently. And permanent residency is a step towards citizenship. Once you acquire that permanent residency, you are going to move fast to citizenship. And also, there was an issue of the period of stay, that if you stay for this particular long inside the country, then you deserve a naturalization, which is what many countries do not practice. I mean, if you go now and study in China and stay there for 15 years, does not necessarily mean you are going to become a Chinese immediately, because you just have to lie low there for 15 years. So those are the issues that we want to look at. Matt Duplessis from Network, yes, there are quite a number of people who put criticisms, especially about the issue of critical skills. I don't know whether it's Herman Mashaba only who did that. We always meet with business. If you look at the Vulindlela report, it was based on the issue of skills, critical skills. And as you have heard, in the white paper, we have actually put it there. But at the time they were criticizing the white paper, we were already dealing with the issue of critical skills, because the president, if you remember, mentioned this in the State of the Nation address, which I will really ask you to go and read, of 2022. He said the visa regime of the country will need to be reviewed so that we bring critical skills in the country, which will drive investment, which will drive economic development, which will create jobs. And so that's why he appointed the veteran Mavuso Msimang to review all these visas and made recommendations. So we have just decided to put them in the white paper, but some of them are already being implemented, like what I said last week. But you remember, unfortunately, we had to withdraw them because there were several problems, and I promised that they will publish them this week. But after the cabinet made their inputs on the white paper, there were so many new proposals they made that it took all our time. So we are not in a position, unfortunately, to republish those regulations as we promised, because all our time was taken by the white paper, because there were so many inputs that we had to incorporate, including, as I said, those from cabinet. So yes, we are looking at the issue of skills. You are aware that we have even, we have even introduced something called the Trusted Employer Scheme, whereby employers who want to bring people here faster do not have to depend on the pace of Home Affairs. They themselves are allowed by this new policy to go around the world collecting all those documents, be they proof of qualifications, proof of experience, bank statements, police clearance reports, etc. The employer will be allowed to collect those, not us, and bring them to us, and we issue them the visa immediately, provided that when we do a ROM-down check, we must not find that they've misrepresented themselves. All those are in line with skills. The other thing, which is also in the white paper, is about the critical skills. In terms of the practice, the critical skill list was gazetted every 4 years, which means we review every 4 years. Our proposal here, which we are already doing, by the way, is that you don't have to wait for 4 years. If a company or a group of people or whatever institution tell you that this skill is critical, and we debate it and we find that indeed is critical, then we can amend, we can gazette rather, the critical skills list, so that it doesn't wait for 4 years. And this has already happened. I think last year it has already happened twice, where we gazetted skills which were before not gazetted. As I've read here, say the gazette was done in August 2022, but in 2023, within 1 year, we already re-gazetted twice, because we want the issue of skills to flow in the country. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Minister. I believe we've exhausted all the questions. We'll do one-on-one after this. Do you still? Oh, okay. Sure.
Minister, I believe that mostly asylum seekers and refugees, those applying for refugee status, are actually processed inland most of the time, either at Marabastad or Cape Town. So how will the proposal for border control being coupled with immigration actually address this issue, whereas these guys are actually entering the country before they're actually processed to be refugees or asylum seekers?
Very good points, Tumo. We are actually proposing, actually the ruling party in 2 different conferences have actually made this proposal. The refugee reception centers where the people are processed, one is in Musina. The second one, which is the biggest, Desmond Tutu Reception Center, is in Marabastad, here in Pretoria. We've got one in Cape Town, one in Gqeberha, and the other in Thekwini. And you are right, you can imagine crossing the whole area from Musina, crossing the whole country, going to the Gqeberha where you apply for asylum. I mean, it doesn't really agua very well. And if they reject you for asylum, you simply refuse to go, and it becomes a legal matter and all that and all that. So we have checked what other countries are doing. The proposal which the ruling party did, but was never implemented, and we want to put it in the white paper, and we believe it will find its way into the act, is that these refugee reception centers must be taken to the border area. You must be processed there on entry. That's our aim, and it's in the white paper. And we are intending to put it in the act that as you enter there, if you are truly an asylum seeker, let you be processed there. And that's why we put all these structures that are highly experienced by people who can understand international law, who can understand the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, who can understand PAJA, who can understand many other laws which must be integrated when you process asylum seeker applications. At the present moment, you are aware that it's a nightmare. So yes, we are professing that the processing must be at the borders before entry. Thank you very much.
Was that your final question? Offense? Are you sure? We're not shutting you out. Thanks. Colleagues, we are going to attach the Gazette when we circulate the statement, which will be done shortly. So this brings us to the end of the media briefing. Thank you very much.